starting with the back row, the members of the school board: Joe Kowalski, Nina Karbacka, Shelley Leathers, Daniel Johnson, Thomas Pope, Vice President Patrick Slagle, and last but most definitely not least, my dad, President Paul Allen. Now for the front row. Our assistant principals: Tom Langworthy, Leslie Malquist, Dana Williams. Our interim superintendent, Sylvia A. Root, keynote speaker, Christopher Olson, and our principal, Dr. Michael McElrath.
Has served as Jamestown Public Schools interim superintendent since February. She has over 40 years experience in the New York State public education system, including working as a superintendent, high school and middle school principal, assistant principal, and high school math teacher. Mrs. Root retired from Potsdam Central School District and has since worked with numerous districts as an interim superintendent to help ensure a smooth transition between past and future superintendents of schools. Mrs. Root holds New York State certifications as a school district administrator and secondary math teacher. She received her Certificate of Advanced Study in Educational Administration from the State University of New York College of Rockport, and her master's and bachelor's of science degrees from Elmira College. Mrs. Root and her husband of over 50 years have 2 children and 5 grandchildren. It is my distinct honor to introduce Snow Day Sylvia.
Isabel, it is true. I gave 2 snow days right in a row, right after I came, and the seniors were happy, right? Graduates, parents, families, Board of Education, staff, and valued guests, it is an honor to be part of this celebration, and I get to speak first. The 2017 graduation ceremony of Jamestown High School. Graduates, it's such a pleasure to turn this page with you as one chapter of your life story closes and another commences. The story of the class of 2017 is one of achievement, loyalty, and pride. As a class, your fundraising efforts have been amazing, concluding with the Battle of Classes, which you raised $12,750. What an amazing way to give back to your community. Individually, many of you have received honors and awards. Here are a few of our highlights. Matt Leon was named a National Merit Scholarship finalist and a National Merit Scholarship winner in the 2017 National Merit Program. Matt also had a perfect ACT score. In 2016, only 1% of all students who took the ACT achieved a perfect score. In addition, Matt received a full scholarship to Vanderbilt University worth over $67,000 a year. Matt also competed in the Optimus Oratorical World Championships in St. Louis, placing in the top 8, making him a world finalist. I would tell you, if you ever get a chance to hear Matt speak, you will be impressed. Natalie Ekstrom and Madison Card were also named Commended in the 2017 National Merit Program. Bradley Brown and Spencer Higby was awarded the Kelly Kamensky Chemistry Achievement Awards from SUNY Fredonia, totaling $32,000. Bradley Brown was one of fewer than 10 students in New York State who was accepted in the SUNY Fredonia Early Admission Program for a guaranteed spot at SUNY Upstate Medical following his studies at Fredonia. Jamestown High School musical students Mackenzie Abbey, Amelia Doles, Matthew Leon, and Cameron Lydell were selected for Nestus Conference All-State. Our music program is the top. Shane D. Harder and Brian Raymond had their artwork selected for the Albright Knox Future Career Exhibit in Buffalo, a huge accomplishment to be established in a major art museum. Jamestown High School basketball player James Rojas scored 1,190 points, making him the fourth highest among our 10 JHS players who have scored more than 1,000 points. James was also named first team All-Western New York and fifth team All-State. Although tonight's agenda does not permit me to elaborate beyond these few examples, please know that we, your families, your friends, and your community recognize and honor each of you for your individual contributions to the overall success of your class. Wow, this class of winners. Can we give them a big round of applause? Now we've talked a little bit about where our students have been the past 13 years. Now let's talk about where they're going. Among tonight's 297 graduates, 108 will be headed to two-year colleges. 62 students will enter four-year colleges, and 11 members of the class of 2017 will enlist in the military to serve our country. Students are enrolling in technical school, and 89 students will be headed out into the workforce. So students, as you leave us, I know that each and every one of you will be successful no matter what path you have chosen. As long as you work hard and find something that you are passionate about to focus upon, your life works. But before you go anywhere, I'd like to share a little senior class mystery I've yet to solve. In March, I had the pleasure of meeting your class officers. Your senior class advisor introduced the class officers, including Bradley Brown, your class president. Each student was introduced one by one, and then they told me their titles. 3 young ladies, Caitlin Healy, Olivia Reinhardt, and Mackenzie Swanson, all informed me they were serving as the Sergeant at Arms. Now you may know that the Sergeant at Arms is responsible for ensuring that executive orders are who of the three was the real sergeant at arms? Then I wondered, why do we need three? For the Jamestown High School senior class, I thought the best thing to do was to ask President Brown. What goes on at your senior meetings that you need three sergeants at arms to keep order? Is it really necessary to have three young lady enforcers ready just in case others act up? He simply smiled and wouldn't answer my question. I guess that's one JHS tradition I'm not going to get to the bottom of before I leave. But turning to a more serious topic, I also had the opportunity to ask the officers two questions. The first being, what are the best things about Jamestown High School that you would like to share? I was delighted to hear so many positive responses about all of the many opportunities that they had been able to participate in during their high school careers. Activities such as the advanced coursework, we offer both advanced placement and college level classes, our music program, of course, our extracurricular activities, including athletics and clubs. And probably the most importantly, that really touched me the most was the seniors talked about how much the Jamestown teachers really care about their success. Another question I asked was, since you will not be here next year, what is your advice that you would give to the new Jamestown superintendent of schools as he or she comes into the district? They said, number one, continue to hire dedicated and great teachers. Number two, get to know the students. Number three, recognize student diversity in our district. Number four, listen to everyone's opinion. And number five, this one might surprise you. Be open-minded about calling snow days. But what I was most impressed with after talking to the officers is that they realized how much support they have received throughout their school career from a caring, invested community. They recognize many agencies and organizations that have given so many hours of time and resource to our school and students to support their success in college, career, and life. The seniors talked about how important it was to work extra hard to make the battle of classes a success so they could give back to a caring community that gave so much to them. Please, seniors, continue this proud Red Raider tradition to ensure the success of the next Jamestown generation. My hope for you as you begin to prepare life as adults is that you honor the faith your family and community have placed in you, the powerful collective support that is behind you as you seek to fulfill the promise within you. Congratulations, Jamestown High School class of 2017, and go Raiders!
Class of 2017. Sherlock Holmes stated in A Case of Identity that the little things are infinitely the most important. Perhaps Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was referring to the importance of every minuscule detail in criminal investigations, details that tend to go unnoticed by an untrained eye. This makes perfect sense to a future forensic science major such as myself. In the field of forensics, one must collect and analyze evidence, evaluate crime scenes, and discover what would usually go unnoticed, and what is, in some cases, too microscopic to see with your eyes alone. Then, all of these details must be tied together in order to understand the greater picture. However, it is possible that Doyle had another meaning, aside from its literal application in investigative work. Perhaps it also refers to the little things in life. Differences of habit and language are nothing at all if our aims are identical and our hearts are open. It shouldn't matter where we come from or what our views are. We could solve world hunger or resolve deforestation and pollution issues in no time at all if we could just get enough people to commit to it. Most of what's standing in our way is merely intolerance, ignorance, and apathy. The remaining part of the equation is resources, the lack of which is tied to that first part anyway. The point is, we could accomplish an infinite amount if we all cooperated, but as Dr. Seuss wrote, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. There's a quotation from The Lord of the Rings that I found particularly appropriate for this evening. In The Fellowship of the Ring, Frodo is having a conversation with Gandalf. In the movie, Frodo says, "I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened. I often wish that this speech had never come to me." In the book, he says, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." Whichever prompt you feel better suits the situation, Gandalf's response is the same. So do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. We cannot take back the worst in the world we are about to be unleashed upon. We cannot erase the past, and we cannot waste our time bemoaning the things that we had to sit back and watch yet had no say in. However, we do have some options. We can take our time, that fragile and fleeting thing, and we can put it to good use. We can refuse to turn a blind eye to the damage we inflict, and instead remember that there are many sides to every story. We can refuse to be content with injustice just because it doesn't affect us personally. We can care about something more than ourselves and leave this world cleaner and with more trees than we found it. We can remember the smaller details behind the greater picture. I would like to release you with the following prompt. We are all, in our own way, a little bit mad. As my favorite Ravenclaw comments in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, you are just as sane as I am. I've always enjoyed Luna Lovegood's character because she reminds us that we have to stay true to ourselves, even if others think us a bit odd, and that sanity is relative. What seems perfectly logical to me may make absolutely no sense to you, and there's not much either of us can do about that. I can find sanity in silence, and by getting lost in a good book. I can see order in the crime scene photos of bloodstained rooms and burned buildings that I'll be sure to stick all over my dorm room this fall, right next to the cute little pictures of cats and trees. Or when Bilbo Baggins says that I know half of you half as well as I would like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. Some people take it as an insult, but I don't see it that way. I choose to apply it as a rather nerdy way of saying, I wish I'd gotten to know more of you, that I'd gotten to know you better, and that you deserve to be liked at least twice as much as I like you, whether you're my best friend or someone I just met. Now, if you'll excuse me, Dobby has earned something called a diploma. Dobby is free.
A Raider, always a Raider. That is what 100-Member Club is all about. I'm Cindy Lynn Hansen, and I am delighted to be here tonight as a board member and president of 100-Member Club, alumni of Jamestown High School. Each year, 100-Member Club presents 2 scholarships to outstanding graduating seniors who have been selected by their student peers and the JHS faculty. However, 100-Member Club does so much more. It supports the CEO program through scholarships and makes gifts to JHS, to name but a few. Be sure to look for the new logo carpets with the J feather that will be in the front hallway and the new bubbler drinking fountain to fill water bottles at JHS. We really hope that each of you will become part of this Raider Pride. And with your diploma, you will receive a 100-member bookmark, which will tell you how you and your parents can join us in this pride. Without further ado, let me present the 2017 scholarship recipients who will have their names engraved on a plaque, which is displayed in the front hall of JHS and will be honored at a brunch this Saturday morning. Each recipient will receive a $4,000 scholarship toward their college education. Our first recipient is a member of National Honor Society cross-country team member, is an accomplished ballet dancer, and is the co-historian of the class of 2017. It gives me great pleasure to present the first 100-member club $4,000 scholarship to Amelia F. Gold. A member of National Honor Society, Key Club, and Quiz Bowl. This individual is also active in their church and community and is a member of a cappella choir, madrigal singers, marching band, concert band, and school musicals. This varsity tennis team member is quite the academician, having 9 AP courses under his belt. It gives me great pleasure to present the second 100-member club $4,000 scholarship to Matthew J. Leon. Congratulations to each of you. Raider pride!
We have the pleasure of expressing our appreciation to all the parents and guardians that have helped us get to this important night. It seems like just yesterday you were dropping us off at our first day of kindergarten, and now we stand before you as graduating seniors. As we get ready to enter this next chapter of our lives, we would like to take this time to reflect upon all you've done for us over the years. Since we were in elementary school, you have taught us life lessons that will stick with us forever. For example, you can't eat dessert before you finish all your dinner. Don't make funny faces or your face will freeze like that. And always look both ways before crossing the street. But more importantly, you insisted that we treat everyone with respect, never give up, and always follow our dreams. As we moved into our more stubborn adolescent years, you dealt with our desire to grow up as fast as we possibly could, even though you wanted us to stay little forever. You listened to all of our middle school drama, which seems so insignificant now, but back then it was the end of the world if we didn't get invited to someone's birthday party. We needed that shoulder to cry on, our own personal therapist, and you were always there to play that role. We started to find our passions, whether it was sports, music, art, or another time-consuming activity. You supported us in trying to find out who we are. Then, you helped settle our nerves on our first day of high school, when we became teeny, tiny freshmen. With all the opportunities at JHS, we all found our niche. And you were always there to encourage us 100%. Whether that was taking us to practice every day, even at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Going to every single game or concert, even if that meant a late-night drive. Being the loudest one in the audience. Spending your money on things you might only use once. And taking us to school every day, no matter how many times we begged for you to call us in sick. However, you always made us go because you knew how important education was. And in every class, you pushed us to do the best we possibly could, even in a subject you don't understand yourself. You asked us a million times if we needed anything as we stressed out over homework or cramming for an exam. You were always there to tell us that everything was going to be okay, and that meant so much to us. So, once again, you were right. Everything turned out okay, because tonight we are finally graduating. As this new journey begins, we will forever be thankful for our parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, or any other family members who have been there since the beginning, showing your endless dedication and support for 18 years. We love you.
I'd like to thank you all for making it possible for us to get to this point. We couldn't have Fellow graduates, we did it. The moment that once seemed an eternity away is finally here. Congratulations. It seems as if it were not that long ago that it was our freshman year, and I stood before all of you on the stage of the JHS auditorium and made myself look like a fool delivering my election campaign speech, chanting my now famous catchphrase, "Bradley Brown will not let you down." That saying has been repeated back to me so many times throughout the past 4 years that those words now haunt me in my sleep. That's the price I pay for being a genius. But those words worked, and the very next day you voted me your class president. And now today, I stand before you for a much different reason. This time, it is to celebrate the completion of that journey we started those 4 years ago. It has been the greatest privilege and honor of my high school career to have served as president for such an extraordinary and gifted class. Throughout our 4 years, we were able to accomplish many great things together, smashing expectations and further pushing our own limits of what is possible. We won state championships, dominated Battle of the Classes, excelled in the classroom, and raised thousands of dollars for charity. This year for Battle, as a class, we raised over $5,900 for the Alex Volk Foundation, the second highest total for a senior class in JHS history. A huge improvement from the $500 we put up freshman year. We've spent a truly remarkable 4 years together, filled with countless memories that will last a lifetime. And now as we say goodbye to our high school days and close this chapter in our lives, we must never forget that we will always be Red Raiders at heart. This is not the end of our journey, but simply a crossroads with about 300 different paths. And now, as we arrive at that intersection, don't be afraid to take the first step. Be a leader. Don't wait for someone else to be a leader, because everyone else might be waiting too. And if you fall on your face taking that first step, get up, brush it off, and keep going, because no one succeeds before they have failed. As Winston Churchill once said, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. We are the future of this great country. We are the next wave of doctors, lawyers, teachers, salesmen, chefs, mechanics, construction workers. I could go on and on. Maybe one of us sitting here will even perhaps be the President of the United States. Which is possible considering the lack of qualifications needed nowadays. Our success in the real world will not be measured in money and dollar signs as it was for maybe the Battle of the Classes. Our success in the real world will be measured by the happiness we create for not only ourselves, but for the people around us as well. And knowing I may never see some of you again, I wish that you are all able to find your own form of happiness, whatever that may be. I have no doubt as we go out into the world, we will all accomplish extraordinary things, just as we did at JHS. And to quote the musical Hamilton, history has its eyes on you now, so don't throw away your shot. My name is Bradley Brown, and I hope I didn't let you down. Thank you.
It's hard to believe that it's been 4 years since we first walked through the doors of Jamestown High School as wide-eyed freshmen, not really knowing what to expect. We were frantically looking at our schedules to see if we had any classes with friends, checking what room or floor our next class was, because, let's be honest, everybody got lost at least once or twice in the beginning of freshman year. Being in high school came with all the fun experiences that we have been waiting to participate in since we were little. Our first homecoming weekend was a blast, standing in the back and cheering on our school during the football game, participating in the homecoming parade, dressing up the next night to take pictures for our first ever high school dance. Homecoming only scratched the surface on the school year that was to come. Impressively, when Pennyworth came around in December, we were actually able to break a record. Okay, it might have been for most negative points a class had ever had, but our class was still able to raise over $500. And even though we were told to go home as freshmen, we knew that we had officially become a part of the Red Raider family.
Then sophomore year rolled around. We were finally no longer the smallest and youngest in the school. In the fall of 2014, both our varsity football team and Red Raider marching band were state champions. This was the year we really set the bar high. Along with state titles, that spring we raised over $22,000 for Cali Swan and the Cali's Crusade at Battle of the Classes. What once was a gym ringing with the chants of "Go Home Freshmen" now became a gym filled with chants of Cali. It was truly a night to remember because even though we were battling against our older and younger classmates, we were able to take part in bringing our whole community together.
With junior year, we were no longer underclassmen. As the seniors had all of their lasts, we watched knowing that it would soon be us. The marching band won states again, truly making JHS the school of champions. We had our first junior-senior dance that winter. Slowly, it began to feel real that we were more than halfway done with our high school careers. Inevitably, the senioritis started to kick in early, much to the chagrin of our teachers. With the end of junior year came the excitement for what was to come next.
Finally, the year we had been waiting for, senior year. College applications, thinking about the future, and scholarships took up our whole train of thought as we went through the fastest year of our lives. During homecoming week, we were able to nominate our classmates onto homecoming court and name 2 of them king and queen. At the football game, we were finally able to stand in the front of the student section to cheer on our fellow members of the class of 2017, who finally were getting their opportunity to leave it all on the field as members of the football team. Although we might have come
here in this amphitheater and look at all the friends we have made throughout the years, all the lessons we've learned and mistakes we've made, it's a time to embrace this moment right here. We are wide awake. We will use what we've learned and apply it to our future colleges and jobs. As we further our education or enter the working world, we should reflect upon 13 years of hard work and dedication and use it to help us in the next chapters of our lives. We became independent and learned more about ourselves throughout high school. We're not blind anymore. I know we are destined for great possibilities because we don't need anyone else to complete our story or take the reins from us. Furthermore, when life has gotten us down, we've had the courage to roar. We entered as freshmen, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. But over 4 years, we got the eye of the tiger. We each were a fighter. We went dancing through the fire, because we are the champions, and they're gonna hear us roar.
Mr. Olson is an attorney, a producer, and an author in Los Angeles, California. Mr. Olson obtained his Bachelor of Arts degree with honors from Elon University in North Carolina and his Juris Doctorate degree cum laude from Pepperdine University in Malibu, California, where he was also named the best oral advocate in the country at the annual ABA National Appellate Advocacy Competition. Mr. Olson has admitted from the United States Supreme Court, the Federal Claims Court, and every state court in California. He has worked on several significant cases, including the O.J. Simpson civil case and the Lockheed Stella litigation, which resulted in the longest U.S. jury deliberations in history. Mr. Olson has also been fortunate enough to be involved in the entertainment industry with some of the most famous actors, most talented writers, and directors. He is developing a feature film about the story of Vince Lombardi and his Green Bay Packers, based on Jerry Kramer's sports classic, Instant Replay. The project is being developed with Robert De Niro and his company, Tribeca. Mr. Olson has also produced several live events. Most recently, the Celebrity Sports Roast and Toast of Steve Garvey and Dave Winfield at the Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend in San Diego and the Super Bowl Central Kickoff Concert Super Bowl 49 in Phoenix, Arizona. Olson's book, Lucy Comes Home, chronicling Lucille Ball and Des Arnaz's historic return to Jamestown in 1956, premiered their MGM film, Rubber Darling, will be produced in the spring of 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, please help me welcome back to Jamestown, Chris Olson.
And Terry Miller. Miller's daughter, Myrna, if you can follow that, Miller's daughter, the founder's daughter, Myrna, married someone you might have heard of. She married Thomas Edison. The inventor of electricity did much of the early wiring at Chautauqua, right over there at the Edison House and many of the houses which still stand. You can walk by them after the service today. Composer George Gershwin composed some of his best concertos here at Chautauqua, right over there in the Music Center. 4 sitting presidents have graced the stage or the halls of Chautauqua, including Teddy Roosevelt, who addressed a packed house at the Hall of Philosophy with his great wit and wisdom and speaking skills right over there. Talk about groundbreakers. Amelia Earhart, the famous pilot, landed her plane on the 14th fairway of Chautauqua Golf Club, right over there. Presidents Ulysses S. Grant, Bill Clinton, and others have addressed this auditorium in the same space which I now stand. Several presidential candidates have prepared for national debates before they go on television from this same space. Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra Jr., and more names than we could mention in the entire evening have filled the air you now breathe with amazing music, poetry, and theater. The only person in the United States history to serve as Attorney General, Solicitor General, and a Justice of the United States Supreme Court, Robert Jackson, spoke at this podium in his graduation in 1910. Did I mention he's a Jamestown High School graduate? Years later, after he had reached all the great accolades and had served as the chief prosecutor in the Nuremberg Nazi trials, a childhood friend, one of his Jamestown High School classmates, wrote him a letter in 1952. About half of us in here remember letters instead of emails and texts, right? And she wrote to her dear friend, she said, "To Jamestown High School's most famous graduate, it's a darn good thing for you that Lucille Ball didn't get quite that far." History. In you tonight, the class of 2017, as mentioned by Dr. McElrath, you have now become become a part of this history. You forever, in time immemorial, will be the first event to ever occur at the new Chautauqua Amphitheater. 100 years from now, grandkids will ask their grandparents, "Hey Grandma, what was the first event at the amphitheater?" And the grandma, who might be in the crowd tonight, will get a big smile and say, "Why honey, that was the Jamestown class of 2017. Let's hear it one more time. Joy. And that is the definition of success. And speaking of last night, two of the passages really touched me. Hard workers. We have the best craftsmen, the best toolsmen, we have the best trade, we have the best furniture builders. When Lucille Ball wanted to fill her Beverly Hills home with furniture, she bought it in Jamestown and had it shipped out there. When the J. Paul Getty Museum in Los Angeles, a billion-dollar company, said, "We want these ornate doors. We want them made of bronze, like Wizard of Oz. We want them to be so beautiful. When anyone comes into our premises, they know this is something magnificent." They got it from Ellison Bronze here in town. The same company, incidentally, that did Lucille Ball's Key to the City that she received in 1956. Hard workers. Resilient. I, like Dr. Mack, went to school and I feel it when I land from LA at the airport. And I'm like, I better up my game because I got to be on my toes with these folks. And I think sense of humor is important for all of us because it makes us resilient. And if we can laugh at ourselves, we can get through anything together. The other thing is smart. I read in today's paper, 88.2% of Chautauqua County has high school degrees. I didn't know that. 50% have attended college. And we have the best trades and craft schools anywhere in the world. Loyal. So many believe in you and want you to succeed. Everyone in this building wants you to succeed. If you look around, you're surrounded by people that want your success. Robert Jackson Center, that has hosted Supreme Court justices, politicians, and every living person who was associated with the Nuremberg trials, was started by a Jamestown High School graduate, Greg Peterson, in 1969. And I promised Greg and John Barrett I would mention, speaking of first, you could be the first to attend an all-night party and still make the seminar at Jackson Center tomorrow at 10 a.m. That's important.
Tony Dulce, a name that is familiar to all. He is called Coach by some, Councilman by others, or simply just Dulce. From coaching baseball and cross-country to being a class advisor for 5 classes, he's had a significant impact on just about every student he has encountered during his 28 years at JHS. However, our class has been lucky enough to call this Renaissance man our class advisor. For the past 4 years, he has helped us all make our way through Jamestown High School. His face has graced our Battle of the Classes t-shirt. He has commonly been found sprawled across our class council pictures just about every year. And for a senior prom themed A Midnight in Paris, he even made sure there was not only 1, but 2 Eiffel Towers. At the end of the day, he is a loving husband to my mom Anne, and a man my brother Christian and I are proud to call Dad. Truly, I don't think I can imagine any other way to have gone through my 4 years at JHS than having him as my teacher and class advisor. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce my father, the one and only Anthony J. Dulce.
2017, are you ready to graduate? It's been a long, hot night, and I'm one of the last things that stands between you and these red things, okay? So just bear with me, it's tough to go last, and everybody's like, okay, let's go. But I do have some things I'd like to say to you. After 4 years, I should be a little tired. It's hard to believe we're actually here. this night has arrived. I can't tell you how excited and nervous I've been the past 9 months as I've watched the progress of this amphitheater from its demolition back in September. The terms character, class, and above all, generosity come to mind. The class of 2017 has been an outstanding class with a great sense of pride and accomplishment. They've succeeded in all areas, including academics, sports, and music. Through these successes, both individually and collectively, these students have continued to uphold the great traditions that have been well established at Jamestown High School over the years. I've been most impressed with your generosity as a class and your success in raising tens of thousands of dollars, as others have mentioned, for anyone who was in battle. These fundraisers, the list of these fundraisers and charities include, I just want to read these off because I think it's important to know where your time and effort has gone in this community. Callie's Crusade, Flight Wings of Hope, the Alex Falk Foundation, the Bradley Brown family, the Travis Five family, the Dan Myers family, the Child Advocacy Program. These are just to name a few. In addition to raising money for charities in our community, your volunteer service includes Salvation Army bell ringing during the holiday season, Read Across America to elementary students, canned food drives during Thanksgiving and Christmas, and volunteering at the Special Olympics and the Relay for Life. This list is a direct reflection of your commitment to our school and our community. Many people have benefited greatly from your tireless work and your generosity. As your advisor, my last piece of advice to you would be to stay involved. No matter where life takes you, I challenge you tonight to continue to give back to your community, wherever that may end up being. Continue to raise money and work for causes and charities. Volunteer to help the less fortunate. Run for a town, village, school board, or city council seat, wherever you live. Be active in your church or other civic organizations to help better the community you live in. Be part of the solution and not a passive bystander or a critical naysayer. I want to share with you a tradition that I started 25 years ago with the class of 1992, and I repeated this with all the other 4 classes that I have advised. When thinking about what I could say tonight that each one of you would remember, I've enclosed a copy of a reading in your diploma covers as a gift to all of you from me. When you get this tonight, you know there's no diploma in here, you have to pack it. But anyway, I did put a copy of this reading for you. It says, JHS commencement, June 22nd, 2017, Tony Gold's class advisor. I know that the next few days and weeks are going to be very busy and extremely emotional for you, so I just want to take a moment to read this to you. Please listen carefully and keep this reading inside your diploma cover. Then sometime in the future, next week, next month, or even years down the road, read it again and think about this significant and special night in your life. The reading is entitled, Choose to Live Life in Joy by Charity Ritchie Bentley. And here's the reading. Life goes by in a blink of an eye. It's too short to live upset, angry, resentful, or ungrateful. If you look for the good, you'll find it. Choose to be happy, to be at peace. Decide that each day is going to be a great day, and grab each moment and make the best of it. Refuse to let negative thoughts take root in your mind, and refuse to let negative people and situations drag you down. Trust your journey, and know that if you make a mistake, it's okay. See it as a lesson learned, and keep moving forward. Spend less time worrying and more time being grateful for those who love you and all of life's goodness. Choose to live life in joy. It has been my honor and privilege to serve as your advisor. You've given me so many fond memories. My sincere hope is that I've been able to make a positive impact on you, that in some way make your high school experience more enjoyable and memorable. Tonight, you take a major step forward. JHS is now a memory to you. You take with you the learning, the growing, and all of your wonderful experiences. You take all of your accomplishments and your successes, but most importantly, you take the friendships you've made and the stable foundation from Jamestown High School with you along your journeys into the future. My sincere wish for each and every one of you is the best that life can offer. I have enjoyed these 4 years with you. Good luck. God be with you on your journeys. Farewell, my